Actually, it kind of fits the photo too because it's kind of misty. And make your surprise face afterwards.
Wow, Dragonstone.
See?
I'm
Perfect. It's perfect.
I'm this little one down here.
Which
This
one?
guy.
You got that? You're that guy?
I'm Lucerys. It's like,
Hmm. Hmm. And the other one over there, he's like, it's all right, I guess.
it's like, am I a bastard?
It's
He's
true.
still thinking about it.
He's still there.
If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
Welcome back to the Throne of the Dragon podcast, the show that covers each and every episode of HBO's House of the Dragon. I'm Josh.
And I'm Curtis.
And we are back for episode 6, The Princess and the Queen.
Ooh.
What'd you think about this one?
It was a good one. I'm glad we finally are hitting the time jump and getting to see some new actresses. And I guess it just, well, no, it'd be actresses and actors. Yeah.
I think you would say
Anyway.
actors and actresses, but I think now you just call them all actors.
Well, no. I was trying to figure out if there was only like actresses coming in, but then I think Laenor's guy is new, isn't he?
Carl?
Yeah, he's new. Carl?
Yeah, Carl with a Q.
That's his actor name? Or,
Oh,
or
that's
his real name?
That's his name in the show. Yeah, Carl.
No, not that dude over there, but I mean Laenor.
Oh, yeah, he's new.
I'm talking
That's a
about
new actor.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so anyway, I was more or less processing it in real time of who was new and who wasn't. But yeah. Actors and actresses, I'm not trying to say they're all the same. But yes, it was good. It was a good episode. What were we talking about? Yeah, it was a good episode. Like I said, this is what, the 6th episode?
Yes.
Yeah. So it took 6 episodes to time jump, which I'm not complaining or anything. I mean, and I like the actresses and actors and actresses that played the younger characters.
Oh wow. Okay, so
versions.
no, John McMillan. I think John McMillan plays him through this whole thing. Plays Laenor. Yeah.
Okay. I could see that.
Yeah, they've just done some different stuff here to kind of. It looks like they really tried to make him look a lot younger
in the earlier episodes.
Yeah, in the
of course,
episodes.
We don't see a whole lot of him in the first couple of episodes. The first time that we really see like a good look at him is in the Stepstones. Was that episode 3 or 4? I guess it'd be 3 when they're doing the battle plans.
Yeah.
Because other than that, you see him like a little bit like at the tournament, but like not a whole lot. Makeup does wonders.
Yeah. And, just cutting somebody's hair too can like make them look older. He talks, it's the way he talks too. In the first few episodes, he talks like a young guy, just like barely out of being a kid.
Yeah.
And then in this, he's a man who's been to war and, it's different.
Has been through things.
Yeah.
Has done things.
Like you were saying, we've made our big time jump here. Mm-hmm. There's going to be one more time jump after the next episode, and then that'll be pretty much where we are. We'll watch things, just
as they go
by year by year. What?
That we're going to time jump one more time.
That's what HBO said.
Oh, HBO said. Oh, so it's gospel if HBO says it. Okay.
Well, I mean, they made it already. So I trust them. It's already done.
Oh man.
So we'll have one more episode in our current time frame. because I want to say the next episode has Lena's funeral in it.
Yeah.
I was watching through last night on the previews for next week's episode and just like pausing on every scene so I could like stop and go through and look at who all's there and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then episode 8, yeah, I think will be our next big time jump.
Okay.
And with that, we should be like in it. Like we should be in the middle of this thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's about to start getting messy, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
They keep
you start seeing things start to kind of sprout a little bit in this episode, but yeah, it looks like from the previews, maybe the next episode and definitely the one after that, probably with the time jump and everything, things will really start getting out of hand.
Yeah.
So
okay, are you ready to get into the episode summary?
I'm ready.
Shall we begin?
We shall.
I always feel like you have to answer. Yes. No, we're not ready. We're not ready yet. Yes, we are.
Shall we, Master Morty? Yes, we shall. So the episode starts with a similar scene to when we saw Rhaenyra's brother being born. I believe Aema is her name. God damn, bro, I'm already like getting so swept under this sea of names, especially with this episode and like where we're about to go with like we'll be seeing Aegon the Second's kids. And
I'm so totally lost, bro. So
like it's just gonna get more and more convoluted. So similar scene to what we got in the first episode of Aema giving birth. Rhaenyra's giving birth to her third son. What did you think at first? I thought it might be like her first son. Because I couldn't, you can't tell how far you've gone ahead yet.
True, yeah. Yeah, I was in the same boat. You just kind of assumed it's just her first child or whatever, but she's taking it like a champ.
But this is her third boy.
I don't know. It's weird too, because like to me, like I feel like the way they kind of presented her in like the first couple of episodes, like marriage and childbirth and all that stuff, just didn't seem like up her road, And so like seeing stuff like this, it's like, okay, this is not what I really assumed. I mean, you and I talked about in that first episode when we like, it almost kind of looked like they were trying to paint like she was in love with like Alicent,
Yeah.
There was just, I mean, I don't know, but then I guess it just turned out they were really good friends. They truly were really good friends. Unlike Laenor and Carl back there.
They're really, really good friends.
They're really, really good friends.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, it's a little bit different seeing this because, like I said, just in my opinion, from the way they kind of painted it and the way I was kind of seeing it, it didn't seem like you said marriage. And of course, I know, the whole marriage thing for her is just like, it's just a political arrangement. It's nothing really. But yeah, it's like the whole childbearing thing. I don't know. It just didn't seem like it was up her alley.
Well, I mean, it all plays for me because we saw a couple episodes ago that Viserys has this talk with her that's like, it's when they're talking about marriage and he's like, you have to shore up your line,
Right. Yeah.
Like nobody's going to favor you in the succession if there's no like sons to follow you or even any just children to follow you.
True.
They're going to go with the male heir. So it's just one of the things that she realized like she has to do in order to shore up her line of succession.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So
true.
But yeah, I feel like there was that scene between the two of them where it kind of like clicked in her head, like, okay, I got to figure this out. Children. That's why she went ahead and like said she'd be okay with the marriage to Laenor, and they gotta have kids,
Daemon and then banged Cristin Cole and was just like so loose.
Yeah.
I gotta have that baby now.
So she's summoned by Alicent. Well, she's not. Alicent wants to see the baby. And I think she's just trying to put evidence together that these are not Laenor's kids.
Yeah.
We know that they are Harwin Strong's kids, which was a weird turn. I did not expect that nor remember that.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a little while to figure out that like those weren't Laenor and Rhaenyra's kids. And it finally dawned on me like halfway through the episode. I was like, oh shoot, that's right. His hair color. These two boys behind you, their hair color is not white.
Did it dawn on you when Cristin Cole called him out?
Yeah, it dawned on me. Yeah, then
that was the moment.
Well, no. I mean, like I knew before that is what I'm saying. Yeah, no, that wasn't the moment. It was like, why is Cristin Cole calling Harwin out? What did he ever do? He's just an innocent man.
For me, it was just like that first scene where he's in there like with the boys, and Laenor and Rhaenyra come in, and they show him the baby for the first time. That was like the first moment that I was like,
yeah, see, I didn't at that moment. I just brushed it off. I was like, oh, he's just a very concerned friend.
Yeah, no,
I want to see the baby. I want to see the baby.
Because I could tell he changed. He wasn't like really the same as he was in the first few episodes where we saw him.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Super aggressive then, and
yeah, it seemed a little weird for medieval times and everything like that, for a knight to be holding a baby or to want to hold a baby that wasn't his. So
it did look odd, like a guy in like full armor, like holding a baby. Yeah.
But then again, I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe they're just trying to be all, sensitive to the world now. See, men can hold babies too.
I don't know that any of that was the intent.
No,
I don't like too much.
No. Listen, in the end, it's not like that. But at that time, I was kind of like, I don't know. Maybe HBO's trying to do something. I don't know.
No, it's his job.
Well, yeah, I'm saying that in the end, that's what it is. I'm disregarding what I thought in the beginning. I don't care, but
I thought
it's a conspiracy, I tell you.
I thought it was interesting that on the way to Alicent, this guy, Lord Caswell, which I wonder what they're going to do with him in the show, because I know what happens to him like in the book. But did you notice that guy, Lord Caswell, who was like, hey, I just want to congratulate you guys on your baby and let you know that if you ever need anything, I'm there. And she said the day may yet come.
He looked like, was it just me or did he look like, I don't know what his name is. He was the King's Guard or whatever. Bald head dude with the beard.
Oh,
he was the one that was shouting everybody's name. He looked like him kind of to me a little bit.
Oh,
just older and like kind of a shaved down beard. But anyway, what was the question?
I don't even think they're the same house.
Okay.
I just noticed him there, and so
I mean, I remember that part, and I thought that's kind of weird.
Yeah, I figured that's got to be foreshadowing. But like in what I've read, he doesn't like. I think he just like gets killed early on in the dance. Like I don't think he really does anything that major. So I wanted to see what the show decided to do with him. Okay. But he was one of the ones who kneeled to Rhaenyra in the throne room, and who he's pretty loyal to her in that decision. So
he's already been in the show.
Yes, but I don't think he was in that montage of like.
Oh, okay. You're saying in the book he knelt.
Yeah, I, Rickard of House Stark. Like I don't think he was in that part, but I think he is in that scene.
Sure.
Yeah, and the Caswells are from this place called Bitterbridge in the Reach. Okay. You're gonna need a map coming up pretty soon. You're gonna need a map of Westeros to know like where the fuck all this stuff is happening at, and
Yeah, maybe I'll just get like a background for behind me for of a map of Westeros, so I can just look at it while we're doing this.
There you go.
It's like, let's see, move my head just a little bit. Okay, there it is.
Like I said, Alicent and Rhaenyra meet. It's mostly just so Alicent can keep building a
Tabs.
case that these kids, are not, that they're all bastards.
They're not your kids.
Viserys looks like absolute shit when he comes hobbling into this scene. He's starting to. I saw a lot of awesome memes of like him and Gollum.
Yeah, I was about to say he kind of have a Gollum look.
He's lost like over half of that one arm.
God, man, I didn't notice that. Wow.
Yeah, it's just like,
did you get the
it's
picture
just like
I
a
sent you?
stub in a sleeve. Yeah, of Meatwad.
Meatwad. It's the final transformation.
I don't know. He doesn't look as like.
He just looks older more than anything in this episode.
Yeah, it looks like
he's losing his hair,
like whatever it was.
Yeah, he's losing his hair. He's going bald a little bit, and he's looking all Gollumy in the face, Gollum-like in the face. There's a meme. There's one I saw where it's like it's a picture of Rhaenyra, and then it's a picture of Alicent. And it's got like right next to each of them, it's like they're lovers or whatever. And so like with Rhaenyra, it's like, it's like there's Daemon, and then there's Cristin Cole, and then there's Harwin Strong or whatever. And then for Alicent, it's just like a picture of like Viserys getting like worse and worse and worse looking.
Oh God. I think my favorite one from the episode is it's the lady being held back and the cat at the table. And one was like Alicent screaming that the kids were all bastards and stuff. And then Viserys being like, I had a horse once.
What?
Because you remember that combo, right?
Yeah. I remember that.
The most unremarkable chestnut. The scene we talked about with Harwin Strong and the baby, which kind of, to anybody who doesn't know, starts to give you a hint.
Know what?
Of these kids' actual parentage.
Really?
Okay, so I really like this next scene, the dragon pit training sessions.
Dragon pit training sessions.
Yeah.
I don't know why that sounded funny.
This is the dragon pit like at its height. That place looked cool as fuck. When you see it in Game of Thrones, cool. It's a ruin. Like there's nothing there. Daenerys calls it the beginning of the end for her family, the dragon pit. Like once they built it and started chaining up their dragons, and dragons can, like I told you before, dragons continue to grow as long as they have the space to do so.
Right.
So, during this time, they're still going strong, but I think it was just her kind of the idea of like caging these things.
Right. Not allowing them to grow. Yeah. The bigger, the better.
As we're going to see this episode.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of, what did you think of Valerian?
I mean,
or no, it's, which one was it?
Are you talking about the one that's Laena's?
Vhagar?
Yeah, Vhagar is Laena's.
Okay, yeah, it's Vhagar.
What was the one that Aemon saw? Which one was that? Or was there a name for that one that we know of at least? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that's Dreamfire down in the down in the dragon
dragon
pit.
Is that?
She becomes Helena's dragon. But
who's Helena? I forget. Is that
Helena,
his sister?
Yeah, Helena's
Yeah,
Alicent's
Alicent's.
daughter.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I can
The
remember.
weird one who was like looking at the like centipede or whatever.
It's a centipede. It has, what does it say? Like, it has no eyes right here, or legs or something. I don't know what she said. Yeah. Vagar? Is that what we said? Vagar?
Yes.
Dude. It's a big boy. Yeah.
They made him, I like how they made him look like kind of dinosaur-esque.
Hmm.
You know, he looks like super
Yeah.
old, and
Yeah.
they did a really good job of that. I like the distinction between like these different kinds of dragons and different aged and stuff.
You think he was kind of confused when she was telling him when she was screaming Jakaris at him? Or do you think he was like reluctant
Uh,
to do it?
well, they're like bound together. So I think there is
Yeah.
like a weird part of it that it's like, wait, what?
You want me to,
Like,
you?
yeah.
What? Yeah. Because I mean, he seemed pretty chill afterwards. He was just like, all right, back to chilling.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I thought. Vagar is the last of the Conqueror's dragons.
Okay.
When Aegon conquered Westeros, he and his sisters had 3 dragons: Balerion, Vagar, and Meraxes. And Balerion actually lived all the way up until Viserys was like a kid.
Yeah, because they were talking about that earlier on.
Yeah. And the deal with Balerion's kind of weird. Balerion probably would have lived longer. He was the biggest of all of them, but I can't remember which princess it was, but she like climbed on his back and flew like away, just like out of there. And she never should have been riding him in the first place, so she couldn't control him. And he just flew her back to Valyria,
Right.
which is where the doom happened. And there's like
The
all kinds of
doom.
crazy shit there, like in the aftermath of that. And so when they finally returned, it was like, I think a year or two later. And Balerion had all these like crazy big wounds and stuff that just like never healed right. And she had these weird, like snake type parasite things. They were like really big, like in her stomach. Yeah, it was like
Oh,
super weird. But it's like, and they leave it mysterious, but there's so much shit going on in Valyria before the Doom, like blood magic and like just a bunch of like really fucked up shit. So they don't know what kind of monsters like they created. Like they don't know what the fuck happened.
wow.
I
Okay.
think they send people who have grayscale there now. At least they did in Game of Thrones. But
Okay.
yeah, they just send them there to die, basically.
Yeah.
Do you know
Exile
grayscale?
him. Yeah, I've heard of it before.
Okay. I was like, think of it like
Yeah.
leprosy.
Yeah. I was about to say,
Yeah.
just, put you outside
Yeah.
like leprosy. Yep.
But it like drives them crazy too. It like makes them these weird, like crazy monster type things. I kind of wondered if Viserys had grayscale in the beginning.
That's where I
but
heard about it. Was a lot of people were like wondering if he had grayscale. But
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if you look at him smiling this last episode with that creepy smile he has and the thinning hair, he may be going crazy. Yeah. That was like on that meme that I was talking about. That was like the last picture of like he was like smiling with that crazy look. It was like, oh god.
Yeah. Just a couple notes on the dragon pit that I kind of wanted to hit. I like how all the dragon trainers have like just a bunch of crazy scars and shit. Like the old man had his face is just like covered. It's one giant scar.
Yeah.
Yeah, from all
Part of
these
the
years
job.
of like working with the dragons and stuff. I feel like the attention to detail was just really good.
Oh man. We talked about it before. I wonder if the kid from the first episode was one of those trainers.
Yeah, I think he was
brand new. Was he that guy?
He wasn't the old man, but he was the
Okay.
one who was translating.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe he was the one who was translating.
Cool.
And then, yeah, just the dragon bonding, because this is like a really important part. It's like he was telling him, once they're fully bonded to you, they won't obey commands
They
from
won't listen to
anybody
anybody
else.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
They won't listen to us, so that's when yeah.
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 So I don't remember the name of Jacerys's dragon.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Dragon. I'm gonna call you Dragon. How original.
But
Yeah, I don't remember.
this is when we get introduced to all the kids too. We've got Aegon the Second and Aemond, who are Alicent and Viserys' kids. And then we've also got Jaehaerys and Lucerys, who are Laenor and Rhaenyra's kids. And
many names.
Yeah. And I will, just for house clarification, be referring to them as Laenor and Rhaenyra's kids,
Okay, yeah.
And then all of the kids have dragons except for Aemond. And we see through a couple examples that this is not like a super uncommon thing. Not everybody's a dragon rider. Not everybody can bond with the dragons. Like it's just kind of person to person within their families.
Right.
We've even got Daemon and Lana's daughter. I can't remember which one it is. It's not Bela. It's the other one. What is her name?
But like with hers, wouldn't it like something about like hers never hatched or something?
Yeah, hers never hatched. Okay, her name is Rhaena, and I imagine she's named after Rhaenyra. And yeah, Rhaena's dragon never hatched, but I do think that Rhaena is going to be the rider of Vhagar.
Okay.
So
I'll just take that one. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's for sure what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but I think so.
Who knows?
And then, so everybody except for Aemond has a dragon. They give him a real hard time about it, and they give him a pig that they put wings on. They call him the Pink Dread.
The Pink Dread. Oink, oink.
And at this point, like most of the kids are pretty close. It's like only in this episode that we see Alicent like start to drive the wedge between everybody,
Yeah.
And then this is the first time we see oh no, wait. I gotta head just a little bit. Okay, yeah. Then we see, which you're asking about, which dragon is that down in the pit? When Aemon goes down in there, that's Dreamfire. She laid the eggs for. It was the egg that they were going to give Rhaenyra's brother.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Balon.
Yeah. Little baby B.
Little baby B. King for a day.
Yep.
Supposedly. Maybe. We don't know.
Oh, then, okay, just a short scene. We're introduced to Helena there. And Aemon goes in to tell Alicent that the other boys have been teasing him. Yeah, and that's Helena there. She eventually will be the rider of Dreamfire, which is the one we just saw.
Yeah.
Which she is freaking huge.
Yeah. Dude. Humongous.
Yeah, then the next scene is the meme I was talking about. Alicent goes to Viserys and pleads her case again about Rhaenyra's kids being bastards. And
I had a horse.
Yeah. I had this horse once. I loved that horse.
I'm not talking about your stupid horse.
But yeah, he's just refusing to see it. Now he knows
He knows.
Yeah, but he knows also that if this comes to light, if he gives any credit to it, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to sentence Rhaenyra to death.
It's almost like, I don't know. I mean, he has to realize though too that it will come to a head. There will be blood no matter what. Whether it's now or after he dies. And it's almost like to the point where it's like, all right, I gotta keep this a secret until I die, and then y'all can just do whatever the hell you want because I don't have to deal with it because
Right.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's like he's just denying it. He knows the truth, but he's suffocating it
Yeah.
with horse stories. I had a horse once.
I think after last episode, we knew that Cristin Cole was going to kind of ally himself with Alicent.
Yeah.
And 10 years later, yeah, it's been 10 years and he's still just like bitter as fuck about this. Like that's a fucking psycho.
Yeah.
Like that's a psycho.
Move on, bro. Move on.
Yeah, move the fuck on.
There's plenty of women in the kingdom.
We get the super uncomfortable scene of Aegon jerking off on the balcony.
Hey, man. You don't know the rush you get when you feel the cool breeze against your balls when you're standing out in the windowsill overlooking your kingdom jerking off.
I was just watching an episode of The Boys the other day, and then the episode ends with Homelander just like on the top of a building, just jerking off. He's like, I could do anything I want. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't know if I was like king of the world, if that would be my go-to move. What
are you looking at? I'm the king.
Yeah. I can do whatever I want. I think I'd find I think I'd find some different whatever I want to do.
Yeah, there's plenty of other things I could do. Yeah, it was like they changed scenes. It was like, oh God, what the hell, man? Come on, bro. What are we doing? And then on top of that, she comes in, his mom. And it's just like, and it's like, I'm going to talk to you right now, even though you're naked and you were just jerking off. It's like, what is happening? This is a weird relationship we have.
And then Alicent starts to kind of turn Aegon against Rhaenyra's kids. This is the first time that she tells him, like, you're going to be king. Like, everybody knows it. The whole realm knows it. You're going to be king one day.
But I don't want to be king.
Yeah,
you want to be king.
It was interesting. Like, he reminds me of Alicent early on when she's just kind of like, well, Rhaenyra's the heir. Like, I just won't challenge her, I just won't challenge that and everything will be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not the way the kingdom works.
And if she didn't have bad intentions, she could have just married Helena to Viserys, like
true.
Rhaenyra proposed, but she knows they're bastards. Like, I don't know, she might have gone for it if they were actually her and Laenor's kids,
True. Yeah.
Like, why not? That would have made total sense.
Bastards.
Yeah, which tells him you will be king one day. This is the first time we see Daemon and Laena since the time jump, and they are in Pentos.
Wait, does this make? I'm sorry, but does this make? I guess that would make Harwin Strong the bastardizer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
History of the Course podcast. History of the Course podcast.
History of the Course
podcast. Yes, we see Daemon and Laena in Pentos. Pentos is across the Narrow Sea. Get a fucking map.
I'm working on it.
You'll know where these places are. And in Game of Thrones too, this is where Pentos, this is where Viserys and Daenerys are. This is where we see them the first time in Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. I'll remember that.
I noted there that so they're just like doing some dragon tricks for the locals there. Just showing off a little bit. And this is the first time too that we see that Laena is now the rider of Vhagar, which I thought was cool. You know, she mentions it when she was a kid, kind of her fascination with Vhagar still being out there, and she went out and got it.
I went out and got it, man. I saw something I wanted, and I took it.
I noted that Daemon is unburned by when he goes through the fireball that she throws out there. Not all Targaryens are unburned. Can't be killed with fire.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, but some of them are. Well, in Game of Thrones, it's a big deal, man, because the only reason that her dragon eggs hatch, because they've turned to stone. The only reason that they hatch is because it's basically blood magic. Her husband Khal Drogo dies, and she takes his only death can pay for life. And she takes his body, puts it on the funeral pyre, puts the eggs on the pyre, and then lights it, and then walks into the pyre. And she spends the night in the pyre. And so when dawn comes and the fire goes out, she's left in the middle with 3 baby dragons, and all her clothes have been burned off and her hair has been burned off and everything.
My.
Yeah, but there's a few Targaryens.
Emilia Clarke.
Well, of course they don't make her bald in the show. Come on. Come on.
Come on, man.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. But yeah, there's some Targaryens who can't be killed with fire, and then there's some who can. So
yeah, okay. Did not know that.
Yeah, but
Daemon learn something new every day, people.
Daemon is one of the unburned.
Knowledge is power.
This Lord in Pentos, he wants to get Laena and Daemon to stay there basically and protect them with their dragons. He mentions that the Triarchy is kind of regrouped, and now things are not looking good because they've made an alliance with Dorne. What do you know about Dorne?
Nothing.
Dorne
Zero.
is
zilch, nada.
Dorne is a part of the 7 kingdoms. It's one of the 7.
Okay.
I think it's the furthest to the south, I believe. And it's all desert and everything, desert and mountains. They were the last to be brought into the 7 kingdoms because they refused, they fought against them for so long. I honestly don't even know if at this time they're completely in. It's so when they came to conquer Westeros, Dorne held out forever, and I don't even know that Aegon ever brought them to submit. It was one of the Targaryen kings called the Young Dragon, I believe. And he was the one who finally beat Dorne into submission. But it's incredibly tough. Their country is there's a million places to get ambushed, in these hills and stuff. Yeah, it's really inhospitable. There's just desert everywhere. And any time that they would try to attack with dragons, people would just retreat into tunnels and stuff, kind of like they did in the Stepstones. I'm pretty sure one of Aegon's sisters died there. So,
okay.
But they mentioned that there's an alliance with Dorne now. And so, yeah, it's going to be more dangerous than it was the first time. And they want them to stay there.
Basically, it's protection.
Yeah. And Daemon and Lena talk about kind of if they want to or not. Daemon wants to stay there. Lena does not. Lena wants to either go back to Westeros or, I mean, Driftmark is considered part of Westeros.
That's what she wants to go be. Yeah. We're not a traveling circus.
Yeah. So this is when the boys are training in the yard. It made me think of Hot Rod. You remember Hot Rod?
Mm-hmm.
Where Danny McBride is, he's constantly just like shoving Kevin like into stuff, you know, like, especially when they're like dancing in the parking lot, and he just like keeps like shoving him into the van.
Yeah.
It made me think of that because this whole scene, Viserys, anytime he like passes or is standing near Lucerys, the smallest one, he just like knocks him over or like
Right.
hits him,
Yeah.
you know, like there's that scene where like Cristin Cole's talking to them, and yeah, Lucerys is literally just standing next to him, like laughing, and then Aegon just like hits him really hard,
Shoves
you know?
him, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the ragdoll kid.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where Harwin Strong beats the shit out of Cristin Cole. Yeah, tempers are just flaring. I mean, Cristin Cole is a fucking psycho. He doesn't like Rhaenyra's kids even.
Hey, I just had an epiphany. It's almost like what he did to Joffrey.
Yep. Almost, except he didn't cave his face in with a mailed fist.
No, it's just a little more, yeah. Still though.
And he's just trying to get. That's the whole point. He's trying to get Harwin to react.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said at the very end, like that's what I thought. You know, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a reaction out of you, and I got my answer, and so did everybody else.
Rhaenyra overhears Harwin and Lionel discussing the consequences of his actions against Cristin Cole, and just kind of the elephant in the room about his kids, you know.
She's still using that passageway, secret passageway.
Oh yeah. Laenor comes in drunk. He tells Rhaenyra that he wants to go back and fight in the Stepstones, that the Triarchy's making their move there again, backed by Dorne. We get Sir Carl introduced there, who's going to be with them for a while.
You just want to go hang out with Carl, that's all.
And then they're just trying to introduce little bits of the world in there. Laenor mentions the Tyroshi who dyes his beard purple and wears women's frocks. Yeah, we see Tyroshi every now and again in Game of Thrones, not in the show, but we see him in the books. And yeah, that's part of their thing. They always dye their hair or beards like crazy colors. It's just a tradition. Like it's just part of like their thing.
I hear you. Look at us, we're crazy.
But she commands Laenor to stay.
Commands. Ooh, I'm shivering.
I forbid it.
I forbid. Oh, you're forbidden. Oh no. It's got some magical hold on me. I can't do what I want to do now.
Lena talks with Rhaena about dragons, about why hers hasn't hatched, about her kind of forming her bond with Vhagar, just what being a dragon rider means and how you got to make that happen. You know, Lena never had a dragon egg either, but
little mother to daughter talk.
Yeah.
Family time.
Lena and Daemon talk about Westeros. She's just trying to get Daemon to go back to their families, essentially, go back and be who they're meant to be, instead of him just hiding out here in Pentos and reading about past Targaryens. A small council meeting. Alicent's being super shitty about everything. She's just like, anything that Rhaenyra has to say, she's just like, oh, fuck you, like, of course.
Yeah, subtle.
I'm gonna talk about the Brackens and the Blackwoods some more. Just trying to give you some more history there. The Tullys are mentioned for the first time. I did write down that this council is now made up of old men. Before they were like some younger guys on the council, but this is
there's that one dude who's so far behind.
Yeah, she's like can't hardly hear anything.
Yeah. And then there's Viserys.
Well, and I kind of wondered if it was, I know how this goes in the story, but it's just a parallel to like real life, Yeah. You have nothing but decrepit old men like running governments all over the world. It's not just here. Yeah, and that's when Rhaenyra makes her proposal that they marry Jaehaerys, her oldest, to Alicent's daughter, Helena.
A fine proposal.
A dragon egg is a fine gift. Yeah, because she offers that, she tries to sweeten the pot. She offers an egg from Syrax's.
Yeah.
I don't know, litter batch. Yeah, if she puts forward any more eggs, then they'll offer one to Aemon.
Back is against the wall.
Lionel comes to Viserys to confess and resign, but he can't do either. He can't bring himself to...
Well, that was for nothing.
Yeah, can't bring himself to... It probably just got himself in more hot water than anything.
Well, not even that. It was kind of a weird scene because like Alicent was there too. And it was like she was excited because it's like finally somebody else is going to tell my husband what I've been trying to tell him all along. And it's like the way Viserys kind of pushes back on Lionel, it cancels that. You can just see like Alicent just like so pissed by the end of it because nothing comes of it. He's still the hand. The truth did not come out about his son and Rhaenyra and their bastard kids. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So then right after that meeting, Alicent meets with Larys. God, this guy sucks.
Man, it's like ridiculous because like he seemed like so chill and like you felt bad for him because he had, a gimp and like, dude, he is so evil.
It's like he reminds me so much, and a lot of people have been saying this, but he reminds me so much of Peter Baelish.
Littlefinger.
Yeah, in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I could see that.
He said he has a great line that's like, I learned a long time ago that like I can't play, it's basically like I can't play their game. Like I can't do the fighting game, that game is theirs, but like this game is mine. And that is the backstabbing, the manipulating, the having a person in every room to hear every conversation. And they both deliver some killer monologues. Laris is at the end of this episode is really good. And then probably the best one for Littlefinger is the chaos is a ladder,
Yeah.
It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's conquered enemies, a story that we agreed to tell each other over and over until we believed it true. Yeah, Alicent meets with Laris, and she's starting to kind of come unraveled. When she was talking to Cristin Cole before, she was saying, like, I have to believe that the right thing will prevail, like we can't lower ourselves. But here with Laris, she lets out that she wishes her dad was there, not because he would be impartial, which they're talking about how Lionel Strong should be, but because he would be partial to her, like because he would take her side,
Right. Yeah.
Laris finds some men to do his dirty work and cuts their tongues out so that they can't tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of parallels between this episode and the first episode, I did hear them talking after the episode about how like it feels like a second pilot
first episode.
Yeah,
I can see that.
And Lena's in labor, and she's not able to get the child out.
She knew what was coming.
Yeah, and Daemon's kind of put in the same position that Viserys was put in. We're probably gonna have to cut the baby out, and she's probably not gonna live.
And the baby may not live either.
Yeah, and we never see this. We never see Daemon have to make that choice.
Right.
He's trying to work it all out in his head, and Lena's already gotten up and left the room by the time he turns around. Yeah, and she goes out to Vhagar, and she dies a dragon rider's death,
which is what she wanted.
Yeah, goes out in the fire there, and it was brutal because, like, you see, like Daemon is upset. Like I think he did love Lena.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like he was in love with Rhaenyra, but she's a dragon rider. Like she checks a lot of the boxes for him. They have 2 daughters together. They were about to have a 3rd child. So Harwin says his goodbyes to the boys and Rhaenyra. I saw something there that he mentioned. He mentions the next time I see you, I'll be a stranger. And that is, it's foreshadowing the stranger in like their religion. So there's 2 main religions in Westeros. There's worshiping the old gods or worshiping the 7. And the old gods are basically like the heart trees, the trees with faces and stuff. And the 7 are, I can't remember all of them. There's like the mother, the father, the warrior. And the 7th one is the stranger, and the stranger is death. So just kind of like a little thing they threw in there.
Okay.
Rhaenyra and Laenor make their decision to head to Dragonstone. Like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Like, shit's starting to turn. Like, it's time to go. So they're going to retreat back to Dragonstone. The Strongs, Lionel, and Harwin return to Harrenhal. Do you know anything about Harrenhal?
Mm.
No? Okay. So it's this massive castle
I mean, I heard
in
what whatchamacallit was talking about after his little monologue there about it was built by so and so, and they say it's cursed and so and so.
yeah, it was built by Harren the Black. It's this massive castle, like it's huge. It might be like the biggest one in Westeros. Um, but yeah, like they tons of slaves died like building it. And I
Their blood
believe
is
it
in the mortar.
was the day that the castle was finished, like the day that the last brick was laid, was the day that Aegon came to Westeros.
Oh, okay.
And Harren the Black like defied him forever. Not forever, not for very long. He held out against him because they're like, oh, what are you going to do to us like inside this castle? Like you're not going to be able to do anything. But Balerian's fires were so hot that it melted the stone and burned Harren and all his family inside the castle alive. So, yeah, they say it's a cursed place for many reasons.
Yeah.
But it's a huge castle. It's got really good lands and estates and stuff. And so a lot of people always want it, like, especially in Game of Thrones. Like, it gets passed around a few times. People are always like, oh, shit. All right.
Sweet.
So then Larys's men start a fire in the castle. And we're led to believe that both Lionel and Harwin are dead. I don't know if they are. I don't know anything about them really going forward. I think they're dead, but
Okay.
I'm sure we'll find out in this next episode or two.
True. Yeah. Help me! I will burn alive. No.
Yeah.
It's like
Help
the
me,
things he would
Father!
say is
I
like,
will
"I'll
burn.
burn." Really? I couldn't tell. For a guy who's supposed to be in the was he in
The
the
City
Night Watch or
Watch.
the City Watch, whatever? He's supposed to be like the strong, brave dude. Please, Daddy, please, I'm gonna burn.
I will burn. It was like that was the exact cadence. He was like, "Help me, Father! I will burn."
Oh man.
And then we get Larys's monologue. That love is a downfall, children are a weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a scary dude. Yeah, he just reminds me a lot of Littlefinger. He's a total pussy, not going to come out and fight you in the yard. He'd much rather send somebody else to stab you in the back.
But I've got a gimp. You wouldn't fight a man with a gimp.
Yeah, that was pretty much the end of the episode. Like, it pretty much ends with the monologue there, right?
Basically. I mean, you can tell Alicent feels regret for what happened.
Yeah, because he tells her that they're both dead,
Yeah.
I have no doubt that you will reward me when the time is right.
What kind of reward are we talking about?
I don't know. Who knows?
That's kind of why I was like, ugh.
Yeah. Could be a sexy reward, could be just lands and titles, or she might make him, who knows, he might be
King?
after Hand of the King at some point.
Something, yeah. Probably Hand of the King, I bet.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know, just from watching the scenes from the next episode, we do see somebody who's got the hand pen on, but I think it's Otto because the guy stood up like super straight, so. Like, and we know Otto's back in the picture. And he also has that line in the trailer where he says, I have no doubt that in time together, you and I will prevail.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think about did you see anything real noteworthy from the preview?
Not really. I'm ready for the next episode, man.
I think it's Lena's funeral that we see. We see some stuff happening on Dragonstone. We see Alicent kind of lose her shit.
Ah.
The way I pieced it together, it looks like she grabs that dagger and she tries to kill Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Or it might be somebody else, but I think Rhaenyra catches her.
It looked
I think
like
Rhaenyra grabs her.
Yeah.
And then that's when we get that line. Now everyone sees you for what you really are.
Right. Bum, bum, bum.
One more episode here in this time frame. I think a lot of stuff's about to be stirred up. It's about to be fully laid out that like we're about to go to war, and then jump again in episode 8. And I think we will be in the middle of this fight. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is interesting. I don't know how far they're going to go in that last one, but if they go far enough, we will be seeing like Aegon II's kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
cool.
All right. Well, you got anything else?
That's it, man.
Nothing,
bro. Excuse me. I think we've said all that should be said.
All right. Well, we will be back next week.
Was I supposed to say something? Am I missing something?
No, I'm just.
Are you trying to feed me my line? And I just don't even know.
I'm just messing with you.
Line.
We'll be back next week for.
Wait a minute.
Episode.
Did you have anything else to say?
No.
Okay.
We'll be back next week.
Want to be fair about
it. We'll be back next week for episode 1.
Wait, are we back next week for episode 1? We're going to do episode 1 again?
We're going to be back next week for episode 7.
Okay.
Until then, make sure that you guys go over to YouTube and follow us at Is Survived by Productions. That's where you can find all of our shows. If you go to Spotify or Anchor or Apple Podcasts or any of the others, you can also find all of our shows there as well. And when I say all of our shows, what am I talking about?
We're talking about this show, Throne of the Dragon podcast. We're also talking about History of the Core podcast, the music podcast. And we're also talking about our very first show, the Red Right Hand podcast, which follows each and every episode of 6 seasons worth of the Peaky Blinders.
And there's a new episode of the Red Right Hand pod coming, isn't there?
Ooh, it's coming. It's coming, people. Be on the lookout for it. Who knows? Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be 6 years from now. Who knows?
We've got weekly episodes of Throne of the Dragon and History of the Cores going up. And then Red Right Hand is just right now, as things come up with the franchise, we'll be talking about it.
As we wait for the movie.
Yeah, as we wait patiently for the movie. You can also follow us on Twitter. They should both be down at the bottom there, at Is Survived by Pro and at Joshua Lynn Gary. That's where I post about nonsense, and Is Survived by Pro posts updates about our show. Shows up. Was that? I think that was all of them.
I think that's it. I think you finally hit all of them.
I think we got them. Make sure that you guys are leaving a review and a comment and a like over there on YouTube. I know Spotify now has ratings, so and they make it super easy. All you got to do is click the little button on the main page of a podcast that has the star, and you can rate it. If you guys would give us 5 stars, we would appreciate it. Bump us up in the numbers there a little bit. Help us to keep doing this. Anything else?
I don't think so, man.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.